What if eating less wasn't about restriction, but about wisdom? In Japan, especially in Okinawa, many women over 80 still cook their own food, walk to the market, and prepare each meal with calm intention. There's no rush, no noise, no guilt. They eat slowly, they chew, and most importantly, they stop before they're full. This simple habit taught for generations is called Hara Hachi Bu. It means eat until your stomach is 80% full. It's not a diet. It's a way of living, a sign of deep respect for the body. In the West, many meals end in fullness, heaviness, sometimes even regret. But in Okinawa, meals end with lightness and energy. This quiet wisdom is one of the reasons Okinawan women have some of the longest life expectancies in the world and stay active well into their 90s. They eat less, but they live more. Not just longer, but with more clarity, more presence, more independence. Hara Hachi Bu is not about counting calories. It's about trusting your body to tell you when it has enough and respecting that signal before it fades. You don't need to change everything at once. Just begin to notice. Am I full or am I satisfied? This first shift, eating a little less, a little slower, may be the quiet key to living longer and aging with more grace. Because sometimes the answer to living well is simply knowing when to stop. What if the key to longevity was simply knowing when to stop eating? Hara Hachi Bu is an old Okinawan saying rooted in Confucian wisdom. It means stomach 80% full, not stuffed, just satisfied and still light. This principle is so ingrained in Okinawan culture that children are taught to pause during meals to ask themselves, am I still hungry or am I simply continuing? To practice Hara Hachi Bu means to stop eating before your body signals fullness, because by the time you feel full, you've likely already overeaten. It's not about discipline or denial. It's about respect for digestion, for energy, and for the life force that food provides. Many Western meals revolve around quantity and speed. Seconds, buffets, full plates. But in Okinawa, meals are about variety, color, and balance, not volume. A typical plate might include 10 different foods, but just a few bites of each, enough to nourish, not to overwhelm. Medical studies have linked Hara Hachi Bu to reduced inflammation, better digestion, weight stability, and lower risk of chronic disease. All without diets or restriction. There's a famous saying in Okinawa, eat until you are 8 parts full. Leave the remaining 2 for your health. This wisdom reflects a larger truth. The body doesn't need abundance. It needs balance. One woman, age 87, said, "If I feel light after eating, I move freely. I think clearly. That's enough for me." To live well is not to consume more, but to consume with awareness. Start tonight with one meal. Stop just before you normally would. And notice how it feels in your body and in your heart. What if there was a place where growing older meant growing stronger? On the southern tip of Japan lies Okinawa, one of the world's 5 blue zones where people live longer and healthier than anywhere else. Here, women regularly reach their 90s and beyond, still gardening, cooking, and even dancing. Not just alive, but truly living. So what's their secret? It's not wealth, technology, or supplements. The simplicity, movement, community, and food, especially how they eat. Their meals are humble and seasonal. Goya, bitter melon, sweet potatoes, tofu, seaweed, and fermented vegetables. Small bowls, big color, and always with one principle in mind. Hara Hachi Bu, eat until you're 80% full. The women here don't chase youth. They nurture what they already have. Food is not just fuel, it's life force. There's a deep reverence for food in Okinawa. They say, "Nuchi gui," food is medicine. Every bite is taken with awareness, gratitude, and care. Take, for example, Mrs. Tamashiro, 94. She wakes before dawn, makes a simple breakfast, and walks, barefoot in her garden. She never eats in front of a screen. She stops when she feels just enough. That's not discipline. That's rhythm. That's listening to the body's wisdom and honoring it. Okinawan women show us that aging gracefully isn't luck. It's a series of daily choices. Light meals, full hearts, quiet evenings. You don't need to live in Okinawa to live like them. Start where you are. Eat slower. Choose color. Stop before you're full. Because the secret to a long life isn't hidden. It's on the plate and in the pause between each bite. What if every meal could be a quiet act of healing? In Okinawan culture, there is a beautiful phrase nui gui, which means food is medicine. Not in a clinical sense, but in a soulful, everyday way. Meals aren't counted in calories or carbs. They're crafted with intention to nourish the body, calm the mind, and support long life. Every ingredient has a purpose. Seaweed for minerals, miso for gut health, ginger for warmth, bitter melon to support the liver. It's not fancy. It's functional and full of life. Elderly women in Japan often begin their day with a warm soup, not sugar. They prepare broth slowly, add roots, mushrooms, tofu, and finish with a touch of miso. These foods reduce inflammation, regulate digestion, and boost immunity, especially important for women over 60 when the body becomes more sensitive. What they don't eat is just as important. Little to no processed sugar, rarely red meat, no heavy creams or sauces. Instead, fermented, seasonal, plant-rich dishes dominate the plate. Mrs. Ko, age 89, still cooks her own meals. She says, "If my stomach is calm, my mind is clear. I don't need more than that." It's not a strict diet. It's a relationship with food, with the land, with the self. Every bite says, "I choose to care for my body." You can begin with just one dish. Try miso soup in the evening or tea with fresh ginger. Let your food be warm, simple, and made with love. Because when we treat food as medicine, we remember health isn't found in perfection, but in presence. What if the way you eat mattered more than what you eat? In Japan, especially among older generations, meals begin with a single word, itadakimasu. It means, "I humbly receive." It's not just tradition. It's a moment of presence. This ritual transforms food from routine into reverence. It invites the body to slow down, the breath to soften, the mind to arrive. Japanese elders rarely eat while standing, walking, or watching TV. Meals happen at a table, often in silence or gentle conversation. They chew slowly. They savor each bite. They pause between tastes. They stop when they feel just enough. Eating with awareness helps the body digest better and helps the heart feel full, even with less food. In Western culture, eating has become rushed, distracted, and often mindless. Screens dominate the table. Meals become multitasking, not moments of nourishment. But when we return to rhythm, to warmth, silence, and respect, we change everything. Not just digestion, but emotion, sleep, and clarity. Mrs. S., age 91, says, "I eat slowly because I want to feel life, not just fill my belly." Even the way meals end matters. In Japan, the phrase gochi-sama deshita is said after eating. It means thank you for the meal. Gratitude closes the experience. This entire rhythm from preparation to pause supports the principle of Hara Hachi Bu. You don't just stop at 80% because it's healthy. You stop because it feels enough. Try this. No phone at dinner. Eat in silence once this week. Say a quiet thank you before you begin. Watch how it changes your body and your heart. Because how you eat is how you live, and you deserve to live with presence. What if fullness wasn't the goal and satisfaction didn't mean more? In much of the Western world, eating has become fast, automatic, and emotional. It's often driven by habit, not hunger. Distraction, not need. Meals are often oversized, rushed, and silent in the wrong way. Not peaceful, but disconnected. We eat past the point of comfort, believing that fullness equals satisfaction. But real satisfaction isn't physical. It's emotional, relational, even spiritual. When food becomes a coping mechanism, it loses its power as medicine. It becomes a weight not just on the body, but on the heart. Compare this to the Okinawan table, where each bite is light, intentional, and full of gratitude. The goal isn't to fill, but to feel nourished, supported, and balanced. The Western world rewards more. More flavor, more size, more speed. But in doing so, we forget what enough feels like. Hara Hachi Bu reminds us that we don't need to be full to be satisfied. We just need to listen. And that's the real challenge in modern life. slowing down enough to hear what the body is saying. Mrs. Co 85 says, I never eat with noise around me. I need to hear my own heart. Her meals are quiet, not because she's alone, but because she's connected. We've traded presence for productivity. But it's never too late to return with one meal, one breath, one pause. Because food was never meant to numb you. It was meant to support you. What if you could bring Japanese wisdom to your plate starting tonight? You don't have to live in Okinawa to practice Hara Hachi Bu. This isn't about culture. It's about rhythm, respect, and listening to your body. Again, start with one simple shift. Reduce the portion size. Not dramatically, just enough to feel lighter, more alert after the meal. Use smaller plates and bowls. Serve less, but serve variety. A few vegetables, a warm broth, a cup of tea. Balance matters more than quantity. Next, eat more slowly. Put the fork down between bites. Chew fully. Notice the taste, texture, and moment. Pause halfway through your meal. Ask yourself, do I need more, or am I already satisfied? This isn't restriction. It's attention. It's you taking your power back from autopilot eating. Instead of dessert, try a cup of warm tea, bancha, barley tea, or chamomile. Let that be your signal that the meal is complete. And remember, not every meal has to be perfect. Life isn't perfect, but rhythm brings relief, and relief becomes energy. Mrs. Clara, age 67, began eating this way last year. She says, I used to eat until I couldn't move. Now I eat until I feel like moving. These are not rules. They are invitations to reconnect with yourself, your body, your peace. So tonight, choose less and discover that less can actually feel like more. What if eating less wasn't about shrinking, but about honoring yourself? In Japan, meals are not rush tasks. They are acts of respect for the food, for the body, for the life that continues. There is dignity in simplicity. There is strength and softness. And there is deep power in knowing, I don't need more to feel complete. Hara Hachi Bu is not a diet. It's not a fad. It's a reminder that aging doesn't mean losing control. It means gaining awareness. It's not about perfection. It's about rhythm. A rhythm that honors your digestion, your energy, your heart. You don't need to follow every habit from Okinawa, but you can carry the spirit. Less rush, more breath. Less noise, more grace. This is the art of aging well. Not avoiding age, but embracing it with clarity, strength, and softness. And it begins with small choices, a smaller plate, a pause, a quiet thank you before your first bite. Mrs. Naomi, age 93, says, I don't want to be full. I want to feel light. That way, I can move through life. This is how we reclaim dignity after 60. Not through extremes, but through small moments of attention and care. So tonight, ask yourself, what would a peaceful meal look like? What would it feel like to eat with presence, not pressure? Because your body is not a problem to fix. It's a friend to listen to, a partner in this next beautiful season of life. You don't have to do this perfectly, but you do need to start.